Sorry, new question. The member from Parkdale High Park.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is for the Premier. For the last few weeks, a group of produce workers at the Ontario Food Terminal, Tibetan refugees from my own riding of Parkdale High Park, have been on strike for a first contract against their employer, Fresh Taste, for fair wages and better treatment. As an editorial on the weekend put it, these workers sort the produce you find at your big box grocery store. They're also, Mr. Speaker, among the lowest paid, making $5 less an hour than other unionized workers at the terminal. The company has brought in replacement workers who may be operating tow motors and other equipment they're not certified to use. We've called in the Minister of Labour to inspect. Does the Premier think it's acceptable that non-certified replacement workers take the jobs of some of our most vulnerable workers who are just looking, after all, for a fair deal?
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you to the member for this important question, because I think when we see people out on the picket line like we're seeing right now in this at Fresh Taste, I think people think that there's got to be a better way to do this, Speaker. And I think in Ontario we've found that today's labour relations record is the best we've had in 35 years, Speaker. Wow. This is such an uncharacteristic event in Ontario. Right now, about 98% of labour settlements in Ontario are reached without any strike or any lockout, Speaker. We're paying attention to this. Our mediators are in there. They're working with the party, Speaker. Labour negotiations are tough, Speaker. They're tough on the employers. They're tough on the unions. They're tough on the employees.
Finish, please.
Thank you, Speaker. I know in this particular case, Speaker, we've got a mediator in there. He's been in touch with the parties. What he's asking, Speaker, is the parties come back to the table. They stay at the table. Speaker, I have full confidence a deal will be reached here.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We know that unionized workplaces pay better. We know they have better protections. That's why the striking Fresh Taste workers are looking to join other workers at the Ontario Food Terminal in ratifying a first contract that will see them receive at least a fair wage. We know that the labour laws in this province are being reviewed, but these vulnerable workers can't wait for the results of that review. Will the Premier move our labour laws into the 21st century and commit to banning the use of replacement workers that needlessly drag out labour disputes and harm Ontarians?
Thank you. Minister.
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you to the member for the supplementary. Speaker, when we have a labour dispute like this, like we're seeing at Fresh Taste, our first focus goes on assisting the parties with the collective bargaining process. We've got some of the best mediators, Speaker, in the country. I think we've got some of the best mediators on the continent. They've got they're very skilled individuals. They've got a tremendous record. Speaker, the consultations are over on the Changing Workplaces review. For the past year or so, Speaker, we've had two of the top labour people travelling the province, asking people what their opinions are on these types of issues. We looked at the Labour Relations Act. We're looking at the Employment Standards Act. That information is being gathered, Speaker. Within a few weeks, that information will be made public. Consultations will take place again after that. Input will be gathered, Speaker. I think it's a review we should stay on top of. I'd urge all members to stay in tune.
Thank you.